So hello guys, we are here at the YaLLa Esports offices. Well met. Today we're gonna talk Hearthstone, and I'm sure you know these guys and also this guy because he just got introduced. So we have here Said, Masen, Mysterio, Luca, and me. I used to play Hearthstone back in the days. Now I'm a bit washed up.
Yeah, my name is Said. I play for YaLLa Esports Hearthstone team. We are here just to discuss the nerfs and the upcoming changes in the new expansion, Saviors of Uldum.
And in the middle we have Masen.
My name is Mazen. I'm also a Hearthstone player for YaLLa Esports to discuss the changes, the new meta, how it's gonna affect the meta, and probably gonna say about the new tournaments coming up.
And I'm Mysterio here. I'm the last guy on the team, and so we're just gonna tell you, a bit about what decks we think are gonna be good after the nerfs, what decks we think are gonna be bad, how the meta is gonna shape up. We always recommend that you disenchant all your cards because you get full value.
So we got everybody here today because we want to talk about the new meta that's going to emerge after all the nerfs that are happening today actually. So our guys are prepping for tournaments, and we're going to discuss what they think is going to happen, which classes are going to fall out of play, which classes are going to get strong, as well as how the nerfs are going to affect each individual archetype. So why don't we just first go through each individual card, talk about what's being changed, and discuss a little bit, on what kind of effect this is going to have.
Okay, let's jump in. Luca, what's the first card?
Alright, so let's get started with Conjurer's Calling. This is a mage spell. The effect is destroy a minion and summon 2 minions at the same cost, or replace it basically. Nerf 3 mana to 4 mana. What do you guys think?
I think the way it affects it is before you could play like a giant on turn 4, turn 5, and then you could double Conjurer's Calling because both copies cost 3, so you could be 1, 2, and you'd set up a board of 3 giants, which was almost impossible for anything other than Warrior to remove 3 big things very early on, around turn 5, turn 6. So that's no longer possible because now they each cost 4, so to play it twice, it'll cost not 1 more but 2 more. And it harms both. What they wanted to do is, I know we haven't talked about Galaxy, but Galaxy would harm the Reno Mage more, whereas Conjurers would harm the Conjurer's Calling Mage more. So they wanted to balance both archetypes. They didn't want to just, hurt the Reno deck and then the Conjurer's Calling deck would come up and take over. They're like, no, we want to keep both of them in check.
Do you think the card is going to continue to see play after these nerfs?
Yes, it's good. You still might see it in the Reno Mage because they like to play a lot of big minions, and that's a way, that you can use it on the Caligos, you can use it on Alex Trauzo, but it's going to stop those early win conditions, or at least reduce them by a lot.
Yes, I agree with Tarek. I believe Conjurer's Calling is an OP card, let's say this way, because it opened some kind of very, very overpowered kind of board status. So to get imagine Khadgar is in the play. So the Khadgar with the Conjurer's Calling on a giant will make you have 4-8-8 kind of, or 8-7, or depends on what you will get, whether it's the taunt one or the giant. And that board will be something impossible to deal with for some classes. Only certain classes, just like Warriors, can deal with it with a Brawl or some kind of other removal. But it's a very, very overpowered status of a board that it's very difficult to deal with. And I think it's time to nerf that card, at least increase that by 1 mana, because this allow the combination with Khadgar and also the giant in an earlier mana, let's say, phase, where once you get 6 mana or 7 mana, that was possible depending on how many cards you are carrying. I agree with that. To sum up the conclusion of this card, yes, I agree. It's good. It's good that it's going to be less harmful to the meta and to the other classes, but still it's a playable card, especially on Reno Mage. They built a whole archetype around this card, correct?
Yeah.
That is what the Conjurer's Calling kind of decks. That depends on the doubling your big minions. Whereas now it is okay to play it in a one copy of it in a Reno Mage.
Yeah.
That will keep it at least playable, and the other classes can also counter it with some kind of removal, not something ridiculous to have on the board, which is like, okay, turn 6, GG, I have no answer to this board status. That's the idea.
And the fact that it's 4 mana now means you can't discover it from the magic trick. So magic trick used to discover a spell that's 3 cost or less.
That's a big one also.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So
This is a question from Mazen. So,
Of course.
I looked around a little bit on what people were thinking, and a lot of people were saying yes, Conjurer's Calling is a problematic card. The turn 6, or sometimes even turn 5 boards that it could generate are completely ridiculous. But is the problem Conjurer's Calling, or is the problem Giant, which just has been a problem in so many different decks?
No, I think the problem will always stay in the Conjures, because in order to play Giant on turn 4 or 3 with a coin, I mean, you're sacrificing too much. Like, you're sacrificing to play turn 1 minion and you turn 2 minion. As a Warlock, we used to tap twice to get the Giant on 3, which is losing 4 HP. And probably he's hitting me for more if I'm playing versus aggro or whatever. So the Giant is not a problem. The problem was the cost mana of the Conjures. Now they have nerfed it. It makes a bit sense, because it will cost you more to play it. So the Giant was never the problem because of what you actually sacrifice when you play the Giant. You cannot play it on turn 4 if you're playing a Timber card on turn 1 or 2. You have to either pass or have the coin, or do nothing to play the Giant. So it's like, I think it's a balanced way to play Giant at turn 4. So I don't think the Giant is the problem. Talking about the cost, or the cost of keeping the only one who actually benefits from that is the Mage. I don't think there's another class that would benefit from the 12 mana Giant buffing it. Maybe Shaman, but we're never gonna see that. So I think, the problem will always be in the Conjures.
I think I just want to add one thing, is that I think they have plans of rotating the Giant in the future. So they just don't want to do it right now. Right now, within half of the expansion, they can play around with the cards that are overpowered. Then maybe at the end of the expansion or during the rotation, they might decide to completely remove the Mountain Giant.
Or maybe going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, exactly, Hall of Fame.
So the second one is the big one, which is Luna's Pocket Galaxy, the card that makes all the minions in your deck cost 1 mana from that point on. It used to be 7 mana, it was completely unplayable, nobody ever ran it. They buffed it to 5 mana, and so suddenly it became too oppressive, and the nerf is basically, the buff rather, is getting reverted, and it's going back up to 7 mana. What do you guys think? Do you think this card's gonna see play?
Well, Luna Pocket Galaxy is at 5 mana that turns all your cards in your deck to 1 mana, cost 1 mana. Open the space for some kind of really unanswerable kind of plays and board, let's say state of board. Again, something ridiculous might happen in the board. So you see Alexstrasza 1 mana, after that Caligos 1 mana, you get free spell, you do that spell, still you have the Pilgrim again 1 mana, then you will cast another spell. So it opens to some literally kind of something that is unanswerable at all. So I think it's time, it's good, but I don't think the problem was in the mana itself, of the cost of the card at 7 or 5. I think my idea was like what the translation of the card, what it does, should have been tweaked a little bit. Let's say, I'll give just a suggestion. Maybe they told, okay, keep it 5 mana, but for the rest of the game, the remaining cards in your deck will not cost more than 5. So this way, okay, you will not enable a play like, you cannot play Alexstrasza for 1 mana. At least it will cost you 5. And to put another heavy minion, let's say Pilgrim or Caligos, it will cost you another 5. So maybe this will limit the amount of giants you are going to put in the board, rather than reverting that to 1 mana. I believe personally that it's not the matter of the cost of the card, it's the matter of how it translates to the game.
Yeah, I think what they were trying to do is basically, it's easy to do nothing on a turn 4 or turn 5. So when you coin it on turn 4, a lot of classes might not have a very efficient play, but to do nothing on a turn 7, like absolutely nothing, is very costly.
Definitely.
And that's the time, maybe it's around the time where the aggro could potentially, like aggro decks could potentially kill you. So you definitely don't want to be doing nothing at that point in time. And I think in terms of playability, you won't see it anymore in the main deck, you might see it as a sideboard. So maybe a tech against Control Warrior. So against very slow decks, yeah, you can afford to do nothing on turn 7, but I don't think you'll see anymore in the main like Highlander list. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, this is exactly my point. It's all about the tempo. Playing at 5, as Mr. had said, you don't really lose much, especially if you coin it. I mean, your opponent might have like 1 or 2 minions on board. It's not really threatening you. But to play it at turn 7, it's really a crucial point of the game where you have to either win the board or lose the board or give it to your opponent. So you cannot afford to actually play such card that has no effect on the board or on your minions or the opponent minions to just make the other minions cost 1. So it's all about the tempo. I mean, I know Blizzard had thought about it, so it's all about the tempo. It's not about actually the cost of the card. So yeah, it will still work as if, I mean, specialist is rotating out, so it doesn't matter anymore. But if specialist is a thing, you can make it on the tertiary, where you jam all these big minions and then you just jam Luna because, you know, late game is gonna matter. So yeah.
What do you guys don't think it should have been maybe 6 mana, something like take a happy medium, or do you think 7 is just the way to go, like completely?
I mean, what I said makes more sense. Like make it your minion cost 3 or whatever.
Yes, I mean, it's the problem itself in this card is not the what is it cost, but not the mana cost at all. So even if they made it 6, it will be in that gray area. 5 was playable because I'll give an example. I played a game the other day versus a Morlock Paladin, which is a very aggressive deck, and I was able to afford to play Luna Pocket Galaxy on 5 because I had the Blizzard on 6. I know I have a solution, and then anticipating something ridiculous to happen, draw 2 big cards by 6 and 7 because I'm playing Blizzard on 6. So if I drew Alexstrasza and then Caligos or some Pilgrim, I'll dominate the board completely with free spells and some, you know, ridiculous stuff. I can do that. But to play it on 7 versus very aggressive deck like Rogue or Morlock Paladin, the game will end even before I reach that 7 mana stage. So again, the problem is not the cost of the card. The problem is how it translates to the game. My humble idea was like, okay, change what it does to the rest of the cards in your deck rather than changing the cost of them. It will be unplayable at all unless it is a tech, as Tariq said. Now the entire archetype which was built around this card will completely vanish. I think we are going to see a new kind of maybe secret mage emerge, more aggressive mages, because that luxury of playing this card then do some ridiculous stuff is gone. Nobody will wait till turn 7. Rogues and paladins will kill you before you even think to reach that stage. This is the idea.
So now we get to the really juicy nerf that's going out in this patch. It's the one people have been talking about for a long time, something everybody's been asking for. It's the Dr. Boom Mad Genius. Classic nerf plus 2 mana to the cost. Nothing else really. All your mechs still get rushed for the rest of the game. You still get the full assortment of hero powers. So what do you guys think?
Warrior expert Mysterio can start.
First of all, I just want to say that I think too many people are playing Control Warrior, whereas the better deck right now is the Bomb Warrior. And I don't think it affects the Bomb Warrior as much as it affects the Control Warrior, for the reason being that sometimes you're just playing tempo play after tempo play as the Bomb Warrior, and you don't want to play Boom until you're done, like, you know, utilizing all your cards. You don't even want to play Boom to lose that tempo. You just want to keep that pressure on. So I think for Bomb Warrior, it affects it a little less, but 2 is still a lot, because when they do play on 9, they can't pair it up with a hero power. But like, I've been playing quite a bit of Bomb Warrior lately, and sometimes as the Bomb Warrior, I decided I had it in hand, and I'm like, I don't want to lose tempo right now and play it on 7. I'm gonna just keep it a bit longer, and it generally came out on turn 9 or 10. So, but yeah, you do lose that hero power to pair it up with, which I think will be big, especially if it's like, you know, if you can discover a mech, replenish your hand, or just get something on the board. Will it kill Warrior? No. So both Control Warrior and Bomb Warrior will be better, but if I was be playing like Warrior in a tournament, I'd definitely play Bomb Warrior. It's just better. You have more win conditions, so you can either go aggressive. If that doesn't work out for you, then you can start to play more like a control warrior, play more defensive. And it was definitely the better deck against mage because you put them under pressure, and if they didn't have the cards to react to your pressure, they just died either to your pressure or to the bombs or whatever. So it's the better deck against mage. It's the better deck against paladin, and by paladin I mean the YaLLa paladin, because the bombs are just so good in
when your opponent wants to throw cards.
Exactly. And it's better against other Highlander decks like Hunter, because you can just stop them from playing. If they have 2 or more bombs in their deck, they can't finish you off with the Bran or with the Zephrys, which they like to keep hold of. So that forces them to play the Zephrys a lot earlier if they do have it. But yeah, in terms, it is a good nerf because it delays, it gives aggro decks more chance, but it doesn't kill the deck.
Yeah, I have the same thought when I first started seeing people talking about the nerfing the card. My initial idea was actually making them in order. So in a lot of matchups, you face this warrior and he has the 7 mana every turn or not. So he gets 7 mana, discover 7 mana, do something, 7 mana, 7 armor. I mean, sorry. So if you put them in order, and me and my opponent will know the order they're going on, which is armor, discover, blah 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 blah. So that would be more balanced because you will not get the 7 armor more often, and your opponent would know what to do. Yeah,
so he can play around it. Yeah, I think this is a good idea.
That's actually good.
That's
I mean, I'm always, pro less RNG.
Yes, exactly.
Blizzard is always when nerfing cards, they always just increase the mana or decrease the mana. So it's a Blizzard classic.
So again, for this card, I don't see that big impact on the control warrior as a whole or bomb warrior, as Tariq said. It will still remain a tier 1 deck, I believe, whether it's bomb warrior or control warrior, because it does not matter really. Maybe you will lose 1 or 2 turns of playing you will not have the luxury to armor up or play the hero power or press buttons, whatever it is, in turn 9. Okay, but still, it's a very playable card. I think other cards deserved a nerf. For example, I want to pass this quickly on this one. Omega Devastator. It's a 4/5 destroy 10 health card, and if Dr. Boom is on, it has the rush. So basically
14,
let's think of a BGH, Big Game Hunter. It's a 5 mana, destroy an 8 or 7 attack minion plus, correct? And the body stats is like 4/2.
Yeah.
So, and it does not have rush, even with any other condition. So yes, you can tick it for giants or whatever, but the answer that Omega Devastator gives for some ridiculous board states, it is unbelievable. Let's say you have a board full of giants. You only need 2 cards in your hands to destroy the entire 100% with no even any chance of, and you will gain tempo also.
Yep.
You have to have the brawl, and then Omega Devastator will destroy whatever left, whether it's a 10-10, 8-8, whatever kind of giant is there, correct? So I think they should have at least removed the tag from the Omega Devastator of a mech instead of, just nerfing, and also imagine how many the possibilities of just discovering that card, how many Ziliaxes you will get, and the synergy between Ziliax and Omega Devastator is really OP. So imagine you have this one, you killed your opponent, next turn you Ziliax it, and you have a giant divine shield kind of mech that is literally unanswerable to some other classes. So if they remove the tag from the tag mech from the Omega Devastator, and at least it will not rush the other minion. Man, you should see the reactions on the professional people when I see this. You should see their faces when they just see that card. Whether it's discovered, sometimes I play games, I count the card. Okay, my opponent play 2 Omega Devastators, and then suddenly I see another 2 discovered. So what will be I'll feel, literally, I don't know what to say. It's just
triggered.
Like, exactly, and tilted because of the kind of momentum it will gain to your opponent, and the kind of removal it will give to the whatever state of board you will provide. This is the idea. So still, to sum up, it's a playable card. I don't think it's a big nerf to Dr. Boom, and it will not it will not make me decide to remove that card from my list, from my Control Warrior or the Bomb Warrior.
But I think it will lose a couple of percentage points against.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's a definite.
Yeah.
That's not a big impact, not huge impact, no.
Next card, also a big one. So, and priests are very salty about this one because their class was garbage for a long time. Suddenly it became good, and then they reverted what made them good. Extra Arms is back to costing 3 mana after it got buffed to 2 mana. So another reverted buff, just like Luna's Pocket Galaxy. What does this mean? It means you can't play Extra Arms on turn 2 for your clerics or your light wardens. I don't know, people were saying it's a better Blessing of Kings, which is kind of true because you can split it however you want. So what do you guys think about this?
It's massive. I think it's huge. I think it's big enough to cut it all together. So I think they're going to remove it from the deck because it was all about playing that Northshire Cleric on 1 and following it up on 2, and you had the thing is it perfected your curve. It gave you so many options on 2, so you could either play a minion, you could play that and trade, and once you played that and trade, or once you played that on a Light Warden or something like that, it was so difficult to remove it. And sometimes I played against it so much that it just drove me insane, and I'm very happy to see the nerf. I am a priest player, but I don't like these very steamrolly type of aggressive decks, and that was what this priest was. It was just I play this on curve, I play this on curve, I play this on curve, boom, 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 I kill you. So it wasn't very fun to play against, basically.
Do you think this killed Combo Priest in the current meta?
Not kill it, but it will weaken it. It'll have a lot less options on turn 2.
I mean, yeah, the card wasn't broken. Like, I never played Priest. I have like maybe the less win in Priest, which is like around 400 or 500, which is I have like 2k in every single other heroes. And just last week on stream, I decided to actually play a Priest. I was like rank 2. I'm not even escalating. It's like in 15 minutes, I gained 8 stars. In 15 minutes with Priest. Games would end at turn 4, turn 5. You know, even aggro decks can actually do that. It's just crazy when you play a 3-5 at turn 2. Like you have a 3-5 on board at turn 2. That your opponent cannot even play minions to effectively trade him. Because if he plays minions, you're gonna punish him with healing and drawing cards.
Yeah.
So it's like, it was really tough to deal with this deck. You need to run silence, take silence, and not many decks can actually take silence. So it was really problematic. And I mean, removing this card is not gonna kill the deck we have already. It's gonna make it from tier 1 to tier 2, probably. But the deck will be still there because the deck has other options. You're gonna remove the card, that's obviously so. But the deck is now, it gains some good cards this expansion. The one that heals both minions in 2 sides, and then you have the injured 2/3, which actually a two drop.
Yeah.
Priest really was hurt by having no 2 drops when the 2/3 elemental actually rotated out. So now you have a 2/3 that is injured. You can circle of heal it if you want to draw a card, if you have Nourishing Drink. So I mean the deck is gonna still be there, but I think it's gonna be tier 2 now, it's not tier 1.
Yeah, not much to say. I think they've said it all. I did not play much Priest this meta, and I hated to play against it because it was like literally the amount of snowballing they gained through the turns, turn by turn. It will be literally unanswerable if you don't have silence or you don't have a very ticky card, which is really difficult to put in a ladder deck, let's say. Whether it's not a tournament, so definitely you'll have your ticks, but in ladder you don't tick, basically, if you want to gain stars faster. So yeah, I hate playing against it. I think it's a good nerf. Maybe also it's not good that they've, maybe before, I think they have buffed it, and then now they revert the buff, but because it showed like the power, the strength and the power this meta, because of the amount of the 2 mana cost minions that they have gained. I think this is what made this energy really OP.
Yeah.
So yeah, previously it was there, but literally last expansion nobody played it. Nobody. It has the same effect, everything, but because there was no snowball kind of minion to start with and continue. North Side Cleric, after that, turn 2 you don't have anything you need to heal, then turn 3 you can answer it. Maybe with some spell or some kind of other minion you have a board by that turn 3 with different classes. So yeah, that's
I just wish they buffed another card instead. So maybe a control priest card, because the buff that I remember, the buff that priest got was a terrible buff. It was like this discover a random minion. They changed it from like 2 mana to 1 mana. So I wish they buffed another card instead. Like they nerfed this one, but buffed another, like an interesting priest card. Because I used to love playing control priest, and you can't play it anymore. It's just terrible.
Yeah, it's unplayable.
Okay, so I think that pretty much covers up all our changes for standard cards. I think we just very briefly are going to cover what effect this is going to have on other archetypes. So we have, popular ones right now, we have Murloc Paladin, we have Reborn Paladin, which was a Control Warrior counter, but if what you guys say is true and Control Warrior stays relevant, I think Reborn Paladin is going to stay in more or less the same position. We have the Highlander Hunter, untouched, very dominant deck. Quest Shaman, Quest Druid, Tempo Rogue. What do you guys think is going to happen to all these other decks? Do you think everyone benefits?
Yeah, definitely. I think some of the other classes will gain the advantage and go to tier 1. Maybe, as you said, Hunter is one of the top decks right now, the Highlander Hunter, and it remained untouched. So definitely this is a boost again for this archetype, because it will benefit from the nerfs, definitely. And Rogue, of course, will be one of the top decks, because we will see much more Rogues, I believe, in the future in this upcoming meta. Also, Rogues will prey on these kind of nerfs, especially Warrior, because it will delay boom on 7, so that is, they might end the game before 7. Also, again, Murloc Paladin, which also depends on the mass Morlocks, that card with the
Tip of scales?
Yeah, so this is also that will be a very, very difficult to counter right now. Yeah, definitely. I think these 3 archetypes are going to shine.
So the most important question to the viewers: what deck to climb ladder right now?
So I'll give a small advice, and that's my experience. Yesterday I just hit Legend, and I did not play much this month. I used Rhino Hunter, or the Highlander Hunter, and I went on a 13 game streak, believe it or not, from 0 stars, from rank 3, 0 stars, till 5 stars, rank 1, something like this. I lost a couple of games in between, and then easily climbed to Legend.
I'd add Aggro Rogue, obviously, because Aggro Rogue is good against Hunter, so if Hunter's good, then Rogue will definitely be good. Better against, like, Warrior's worse, so that makes Rogue better. And yeah, that's my pick.
I would always smack Highlander Hunter now. Now and after the nerfs. But I don't think there's a lot of decks going to be introduced to the meta. The meta is going to be the same. The decks are still going to be the same. When percentages will differentiate, it will go up and down a bit between the matches. But I don't believe, if I haven't missed anything, I don't think new decks is going to join the meta.
What's the next big tournament where the fans can see YaLLa Hearthstone playing? Is there anything cool coming up?
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited to talk about this. There was the 2 announcements last week, which were very, very exciting to us as let's say as residents in the United Arab Emirates, because the first one, Blizzard just announced that Arab countries, including United Arab Emirates, Jordan, Lebanon, a lot of other countries, Kuwait, Oman, and GCC countries are eligible. Yes, it's a long list, and all of these countries are now eligible to compete in the Masters qualifiers. But finally, Blizzard just announced that United Arab Emirates and lots of other countries are eligible to compete in the Masters qualifiers, which will give again the opportunity for us to compete in a global scale. This is number one. The second also exciting announcement is that our friends in OP Network, with the collaboration of Blizzard, thanks to Nazih Faris also, they have announced the season 4 of Legends of Arabia, and usually it used to be just a prize where it involves a kind of physical prize or money, but now the first place winner is going to Masters Qualifiers Bucharest, which will give also a very nice exposure to our Middle East esports. and this was created and with a collaboration with Blizzard. It was so kind of Blizzard to give that spot, a guaranteed spot for at least one player from the Middle East. He will be there. This is in the next Masters qualifier, Bucharest.
Anything, Mysterio, do you want to add about the tournament, about Blizzard, about Hearthstone? Anything, last words?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying the expansion. It's a good expansion, really fun.
Okay.
I was surprised actually how fun it was. So, if you haven't actually been playing Hearthstone, it's a good time to get back in because it's just a very interesting meta game.
I like that. Mazen, last words.
I'm really excited about this joining tours. Now we can join tours. I mean, it came up late. Now the qualifiers are closed, the official ones. But the next year, the year after, like Klaus and me, I'm really competitive player. I like to compete a lot, try to compete. So this is gonna open up opportunities for me to actually start competing in like an international scale. So
yes, and when this guy wants to ladder, he can ladder, ladies and gentlemen. This guy is the best ladder player, one of the best anyway I've ever seen.
Okay, again, I'm really enjoying this Savior of Uldum expansion. It brought new kind of archetypes and brought a lot of good memories with our old heroes, let's say. And yes, looking forward to the next competitive year, because here we are all in YaLLa Esports to compete actually, and to get the chance to be there and show the world that some unknown heroes are on the map. That is our beauty here, and hopefully we will deliver that in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Peace.
Well met.